Hi, this is John Malvey from MyBookkeeperSoftware, and today I'm bringing you a video to help you in understanding the difference between basic and advanced payroll within Bookkeeper. As you may or may not know, Bookkeeper has two flavors of payroll. One is basic, which can solve most customers' needs. It'll do federal, state, and local calculations. It'll do some basic deductions for you as well. For customers that need more advanced handling and more advanced customization of payroll, the advanced option is available, which will allow you to set up more options when it comes to wages and deductions and so forth. And so I'll show you both so you can kind of decide on your own which one suits for you. So I've created two companies. This one is called Basic. And there is, as far as the setup goes, you start with your employees. So I've set up a couple of employees here in Colorado, and just to show you how what you need to do to set up, it's pretty basic. You go in, you have their information, their demographic information, you have their marital status, what kind of payroll account. With a payroll, you have options for hourly, salary, or custom. Custom is just a variance of hourly, where you can have multiple types of hourly salaries if you want. You put on per hour and the pay frequency. For the taxes, you specify your filing status, you specify your state, and for localities, we capture all the different localities, and then you can just click on whatever one you want to and set it up there. For deductions, you have some basic deductions for dental, medical, and retirement. You can add other ones where you can do an amount per hour, per paycheck, or percentage of gross. That's pretty much the limit of the different types of options you can have for deductions. But if those suit your need, then that's all you need. So I set up a couple of people here. One is hourly and one is salary, just to kind of show you how to process them. So once you have those set up, then simply you go to do create paychecks, and then you just select one. So here's Carl. So Carl was hourly. So Bookkeeper is going to want to know the range of the pay period. So I'm just going to put in some dates, and let's say Carl worked 45 hours, and it does the calculations for you. So it does all the Fed, state, local, also trapped as deductions here as well. So I'll click save on that, and then I'll move along to Connie. Connie was a salaried person, so Bookkeeper automatically created it automatically calculated what the wages should be. It retained what the pay period was from the previous paycheck, automatically calculated federal, state, and local, and calculated her deduction as well. And I'll save that, and I'm good to go. And that is how you process uh, payroll in Basic. So now if I wanted to show you the similar processing in advanced payroll, I'm going to go to my advanced company. And so for advanced, it's a little more setup work that's involved, but then you'll see that the processing of the payroll runs a lot smoother. If you have a few employees, maybe it's easier to do basic, if that really fits your needs. If you have 10, 20 employees and going one by one may be a little more difficult or time consuming, going advanced may be a little bit easier for you. So to do advanced, you do have to do some setup first. So if you go to the company menu option, do manage current company information, and you go under the additional tab, you'll see a button for payroll. So when you click on that, what Bookkeeper is going to do is present you with basic setup for all the different options you have at the company level. And what that does is once you set up these options, when you create employees, the options you set at the company level will be available for each employee that you set up. All right, so you first define what states you want to do taxes within. And then when you go to wages, see, now you have a lot more options when it comes to wages. So you can have wages that are excluded in gross, or excluded in net. So let's say you had tips that you want to be able to calculate taxes on, but not include a net paycheck. That could be here. You can also have options as to where this wage falls on the W-2 form or the 1099. Workers' comp is also available here. And there's a little predefined button that can kind of show you different ones. If you wanted to track bonus, commission, other things like that are available to you nice and easily here. For taxes, you have a lot more options when it comes to taxes. It will do the federal, state, or the federal and the FICA, but it also does federal unemployment. You can do workers' compensation. You can see we have the typical state withholding, but we also have the unemployment, disability, and so it'll show you all the different tax options that are available based on the states that you are selecting. And for local taxes, you just pop this button up here and Bookkeeper will show you all the local options for the states that you've selected if they have local tax options available. You just select the ones that you need and you're good to go. And if you needed to specify a withholding rate, so for say unemployment, you have the option to specify whether it's fixed or whether it's varied. You specify your GL account. You can also specify a payee, so when you're doing your payroll deposits, you can easily manage that as well. Now for deductions, again, you have a little more control over how you want to have these deductions set up. You can have company deductions as opposed to just employee deductions, which is what Basic only offers employee. This one here, you can do employee and company. You have a lot more options when it comes to how it's calculated. So here you see percentage of gross, fixed amount out per hour. You can base this on another deduction, another tax, after tax, net wages. A lot of different options here. And then how you want to set your limits and so forth. We can also track time off. So here, if you want to track personal time off, you'll be able to do that. We can show you on an employee level how that looks as well. And then you define a payroll cycle. So you have monthly cycles, have as many cycles as you want. You can call them anything that you want. They basically are the pay frequencies. And what you'll do is you'll assign employees to these pay frequencies. All right, so once you have everything all set up, I'm going to get out of here, and then I'm going to go to my employees. All right, and I'm just going to take this one here. So again, basic demographic information. You have more options when it comes to employment. Again, a lot of these are informational. Here you select what payroll cycle, whether it's weekly or monthly, whatever you had set up at the company level. There are multiple timesheet options, but I won't get them into here and won't get into them here. If you look at the different videos for advanced payroll, you'll see the differences in the timesheet options if you need that. So now when it comes to the wages, I select the wages that were defined at the company setup option. And then I can override whatever the default was set up for that company. So for this employee, I can say, okay, this person makes $55,000 a year. If they were doing personal time off, I can have that checked here as well. So when I do that, I can say, all right, here's the rate of accrual. It's going to be per pay period. This is how much they earn, max. So there's these options for how to manage time off if you need to. For taxes, all the taxes that were set up at the company level are available here. So you see in this case, this person's out of New York, so we have their New York withholding, unemployment, disabilities all set, federal unemployment, and they're all good to go. Deductions as well, so whatever deductions were set up are available here. So I'm not going to save any of my changes. But now once I have all my employees set up, now when I go to run my payroll, I can just choose the cycle of which I want to run. So in this case, I want to run my weekly cycle. It's going to go here, and because all these employees were set up as salaried employees, Bookkeeper knows to go out and calculate their taxes. And you can specify your dates, what effective date the payroll is, import spreadsheets. If you need to make any modifications, you can get into here, and you can show all the different, withholdings and all the different tax options that were done. And you can make modifications if you needed to do some tweaking. And if this were an hourly person, that's where you would go in and make their hourly changes as well. Once everything's all, and with here you can also exclude people if you wanted to bypass a particular person for the payroll cycle run. I'll click next. I'll be able to see a recap of what I'm going to pay. I can specify what bank account I want to pay from, starting check number. Do I want to preview? If I want to preview, it's going to give me a breakdown of each check. And then I create the checks, and now I'm all done. And from then on, now I can just run payroll just by creating checks that way, and it'll create them all in one fell swoop. So again, it's a lot easier if you have more employees, once you get them all set up to be able to run payroll that way. But there is a lot more setup. There's a lot more to get into. There are other videos regarding advanced payroll that'll show you all the different nuances that are for each section there, so you get a better understanding of what suits your needs. But either way, it's available in Bookkeeper. You can decide which you want during your company setup. So when you create a company, I guess let me show you that. So if I go and create a new company, if I do an express setup, it's going to set to basic as a default. If I do standard setup, I'll have the option to do basic or advanced. That's the only way to get to advanced. If you are in basic and you do want to get to advanced at some point, you can upgrade. There is an option there. But once you are in advanced, you cannot downgrade back to basic. So I hope that gave you enough information to make your decision. And thanks again for being a Bookkeeper customer.